What's up everyone, this is Regret&ReverieGaming, and today we're going to try something a little different than the usual content on the channel. We are going to try to build a heavy metal style team that could potentially take on VGC and any Nuzlocke or normal run-throughs of Scarlet and Violet. To catch up any individuals that do not know what heavy metal is, it's a genre of music with gritty and distorted vocals, high gain guitars, and a whole lot of hair. Since we are basing our team off a sound, we are going to try to pick some Pokemon that also encapsulate the culture of the genre and surrounding imagery that represents the brand. Kind of like my channel. I do want to announce that I am rebranding this channel to strictly deliver Pokemon content. There is no other game series in the world that has kept my interest for the entire duration of my life, so it seems like a no-brainer to pursue making a Pokemon YouTube channel. If this is the type of content that you're interested in, please leave a like on the video and subscribe for similar Pokemon content. Having that said, let's jump into it. Our first pick on our team luckily is one of the starters of this generation. It is going to be the Fire and Ghost type Skeledirge, the literal senior Pokemon. I don't really think I have to explain why he's on a team, but with his impressive vocals, I couldn't think of any other frontman to be leading our newly formed band. Skeledirge has an impressive stat pool, and his leading move Torch Song will be raising his special attack stat every time he uses it. The special attacking move Skeledirge will be using primarily is the Stab Effective Fire Blast, or the TM alternative Flamethrower. To cover our ghost typing, we are using Shadow Ball to cover those ghosts against ghost encounters. He will be useful in terms of coverage as he has access to Earth Power and Solar Beam to cover the ground that we are missing on the rest of the team. In order to stick to this theme, I really had to be creative as a lot of the other typings such as Fairy and Water are hard to find Pokemons that fit our festival lineup. With every great vocalist though, you do need an excellent supporting band to follow, and that leads us to our next Pokemon. Toxtricity, the punk rock Pokemon, has decided to leave his punk rock roots to join our team as the guitarist. It would feel wrong using his low-key form, as the Mohawk can still be found quite frequently in the metal scene, and since he will be utilized as a mix attacker, we are going to need a nature that is a little more amped up. Toxtricity is one of the few Pokemon that utilizes sound-based moves with his ability Punk Rock. His sound-based moves are increased, and any moves of the same type are halved. This lets his signature move Overdrive do more damage and let him annihilate double battles with the move Boom Burst. If that is paired with an early set Charge Beam, we do have a potential sweeper on our team, if his speed stat wasn't subpar. Not too bad for a Pokemon named after one of the best metal albums of all time, Toxicity by System of a Down. Every band needs their own mascot. Most make up some kind of creature to represent them, like the Death Bat with Avenged Sevenfold or Eddie with Iron Maiden. Since we don't really have either of those in the game to fit that bill, we have to look at the lyrical content with most metal songs. Besides most lyrics talking about coping with depression, breaking up with your girlfriend, or surprisingly ordering pizza, there are other songs that talk about making a beast out of yourself and the difference between a wolf and a man. So after a lot of thought and consideration about it, I think the best mascot for our brand is going to be the rock type Lycanroc, the midnight form of course. Although this might not be the best Lycanroc form out of the three, this one does help with our coverage by covering some fighting type moves like Brick Break, so we could destroy any light screens that we come across, and counter to fight back against opponents' Pokemons, as we are kind of lacking in the speed stat. Where Lycanroc is lacking though, he does make up in physical power, and status moves as well. Under the right conditions though, Lycanroc can clean house and help in double matches with having access to Taunt and Stealth Rocks. Really, the team doesn't really come together until you have the actual fans listening to your songs though. If anyone has been to a metal show, you can look around and see some common trends with the crowd. Long black and colored hair, tattoos, piercings all over the body, and everyone just seems to be wearing some shade of gray or black. Or bright pink. The best way to really describe this appearance is either emo or goth, which kind of leads us to the glue of the team, and that's going to be the Psychic type Gothitelle. Gothitelle is going to be the most important member on this team because without any fans, you're really not going to make a living in the scene. But for our purposes on our team, her moveset is the reason why I decided to include her. Not only can she set up our light screens and reflect to make sure the rest of the members take less damage, but she can also have access to the move Trick Room. And with all our Pokemon having slower speed stats, this move is going to be our one-hit wonder in ensuring victory in all our Pokemon battles. Okay. Now this next Pokemon is kind of a stretch, but if you really look at it and start looking up band fonts on the internet, then you will understand. Our next member is Bramblecast, because he looks very similar to most of the fonts that deathcore bands use, such as Lorna Shore and Brand of Sacrifice. I wish I could list off more bands, but the deeper you get into the culture, the harder it is to read the band's name. Moving on from that, Bramble Gas does fill the void in the team with his grass typing, but does double damage on the ghost typing. This is not the biggest deal, but he is cursed with a high attack stat when most of the moves that he learns is special attacks. Luckily, he can learn Seed Bomb through TMs to make up for the lack of consistent grass moves, and also learns Rapid Spin to raise his speed as well as clear any hazards that may have already been set. This is more of a mid-battle Pokemon to use, as Bramblegas's ability Wind Rider allows it to ride off of your opponents with Tailwind and further increase your attack stat. Though this may not be the most ideal Pokemon, I think it is worth it for the moment until Game Freak updates Pokemon Home. This kind of leads us to our honorable mentions. These Pokemon could easily be on a team, but either wasn't optimal or is not yet available. The first one is to be Rillaboom, the drummer Pokemon. Other than the obvious reason that we need a drummer to keep the beat to our battles, he does have access to Knock Off, Wood Hammer, and Boom Burst to pair with our Toxtricity. And with him being a mono grass type, we can avoid the weakness to Dark, but unfortunately it is replaced with a poison weakness. Either way, you can keep Bramblegas on the team if you do desire, but I think Rillaboom is a better Pokemon overall, but I was unable to put it on the team due to it not being available yet via Pokemon Home. The other honorable mention is the new Bug and Dark type Lokix. His hidden ability Tinted Lens honestly carries this Pokemon, being able to power up his not very effective moves, and his bug moves can also be increased in a pinch. I really wanted to put him on the team seeing as he should be a permanent member of Motionless in White. He is already in the right attire and looks like he's ready to chop some heads in the Cyberhex music video. Unfortunately, his bug typing did hold him back from making the team, as there's not too many occasions where he would be useful. And his dark typing, well, it is nice to have, but this was also reserved for our last member of our team. Every band needs a roadie, and Grimmsnarl is our man. The bulk up Pokemon that is literally covered in hair seems like a no-brainer for our heavy metal team with his dark and fairy typing and his ability Prankster that allows status moves that have priority. This man also has insane coverage with being able to use all of the elemental punches, fairy moves, which you can then use Misty Terrain, Brick Break, Reflect, and Light Screen, having access to Nasty Plot and only being weak to 3 typings and being immune to Dragon and Psychic types. This Pokemon along with Gothitelle will allow all the other members of the band to shine and potentially sweep your opponents in VGC, or if you're doing a Nuzlocke, just to survive. And that wraps up today's video. If you like this content, please leave a comment and give me suggestions for other teams and themes that you would like to see. We can continue with music genres for a while, or we could try to tackle other video games as well. If you're a fan of heavy metal or the metalcore subgenre, listen to my band CZYK. We have a brand new single, Paralyzed, that was released in October this year. If you are a fan of Architects or Wage War, you will love our songs. Having all that said, please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to see more content like this, and let me know if I should do a Nuzlocke using this team. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.